Hello everyone and welcome to MVP Sports. I am Soapy Muffins and today you're seeing me in a little bit different of a medium than I normally am in. Obviously most of the time I'm on the shows, but today you're kind of seeing me doing a solo video, and today I'm contributing towards the wonderful content that is mock drafts. Who everyone loves draft time. You can smell it in the air. It's like a beautiful, it's like, the first time in spring when you start smelling the flowers, except when you're me and you're allergic to pollen and you just feel like crying because you can barely breathe during it. But obviously, we do want to get into this as quick as possible, but before that, we're going to get one little bit of housekeeping out of the way. If you would like to see these mocks a week early, you can become a Patreon member, or you can also become a channel member. Channel members and Patreon kind of work the same, kind of intertwined between each other. They're one and the same. It's just one's through YouTube, one's through Patreon. Obviously, either one you'd like to support us in. To get this a week early, you would go to Gold tier, which is about $10 a month. Obviously, then, whenever Jake's comes out, you'll be getting Jake's early. If you are a gold patron, boom, look at that. You already know about this video already. But, and also just as well, comment, like, subscribe for the algorithm. Obviously, very helps small channels like us to kind of be able to get into people's recommended. But all the boring YouTube stuff out of the way, let's get right into them. So, going into this, as you can kind of see, the order, I went through Tankathon, refreshed it. Ricky was there when I refreshed it, and I refreshed it like a million times. Because I did it like 15 times at first, and I forgot how many times I did it. So, I just went through and did it 5 more times afterwards. So, this is how we got this order. So, let's get into it. Number 1 pick in the NBA draft, the Orlando Magic. They're taking Cade Cunningham. This is pretty simple. It's straightforward, to the point. We don't really got to dwell on this too much. I do say this actually does put the Magic in an interesting position, because now they have a logjam at point guard. Obviously, if they do take this pick in Cade Cunningham, they also then have Markelle Fultz, R.J. Hampton, Cole Anthony, Michael Carter-Williams, Gary Harris at the guard position. I think this is going to really be an interesting moment for Orlando. But moving on to the second pick, the Detroit Pistons take JG4, or Jalen Green. But this one, I will honestly say, was a coin toss for me. I literally was like, I don't know who I'd rather prefer. Obviously, I am a Pistons fan. So I'm like, I'll just do a coin toss. Whoever I get is who I got JG4. Not mad about it. So yeah. Number 3, Toronto is taking Evan Mobley. Obviously, I think they just take whoever's still left on the board. I don't believe in the narrative of them taking a point guard, because they already do kind of have other point guards. I know people have differing opinions on Malachi Flynn, but obviously, it is to see if they like him as much as we do or not. The OKC Thunder have back-to-back picks. Obviously, sorry, Rockets fans, you do lose out on your pick. I'm terribly sorry that my simulation did this to you, but OKC with back-to-back picks takes Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Kuminga. Basically, this team just loads up on talent. We then get a backcourt of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Suggs. That's going to be a really fun backcourt to watch. And as well, Kuminga's just a talent they're able to develop on the side. At number 6, Cleveland takes Scotty Barnes. I almost forgot his name for a second. Basically, I think pairing Barnes and Okoro is going to make this a really good defensive duo. And especially, we don't really know what the plans for Sexland as the backcourt is for the future. So obviously, kind of being able to narrow out the defense and have it to where they mostly have to focus on offense. Ignore my dog, she's being annoying today. At 7, Golden State takes Jalen Johnson. I don't think he falls as far as some people may think. I think a lot of his personality issues can be solved as long as he's on a good team. So, and I think going to a team like Golden State would help him. But as well, I believe this is also a team that's going to trade these picks. I think Golden State is still in that mentality of like, we're win now. We want to win rings with Steph. Clay's coming back. We have our old big 3 of Clay, Steph, and Draymond, so we want to kind of continue to run this. I don't know who they would trade for with these. That's why the Golden State still has these picks in here. But I think they would trade someone. I think Wiseman or Oubre would be involved in the signing trade in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, Jalen Johnson goes here at 7. At number 8, Orlando takes Keon Johnson. Once again, kind of not really helping that backcourt situation of how many guards, but just kind of taking BPA that's available. Sacramento at 9, taking Moses Moody. Pairing a backcourt of Fox and Booty is going to be terrifying. So, look out, NBA. At number 10, New Orleans is going to take Josh Giddey. I think the reason they take Giddey here is I believe Lonzo is gone. I think he's going to not be on this team next year. And you kind of get a guy you can plug and play, just like, all right, fill a similar role to Lonzo, not to the exact same extent, but at least you'll be able to step in and hold the fort down. At number 11, I speak this one into existence, and god damn it, I'm doing it again. At number 11, Charlotte Hornets, getting Isaiah Jackson. I think Jackson could be one of the best centers in this draft. At some point, I will be making a breakdown video of him, so you guys can kind of see my thoughts on him. I think the fact that he fits perfectly with what this team needs, and I think as well, they're still a team that they can get away with developing him. Like, I think he is going to be able to develop perfectly with someone like LaMelo Ball just being able to throw the ball up to him. At number 12, I have San Antonio taking Sengun. I'm not even going to try to say his first name because I'm not getting made fun of for saying it wrong. I have the Spurs taking Sengun just because I think he's the next best center off the board. And I think as well, with the Spurs team kind of seeing where this offense needs to be, obviously, they lost out on LaMarcus Aldridge this year. Obviously, he had left the team, and then, or I believe he was bought out, and then moved on to the Nets, and then obviously retired. And I think there is a chance that DeMar DeRozan leaves, which leaves a massive gap in the offense, and I think Sengun can at least hold that over while other pieces on this team develop offensively. At 13, I have Indiana taking Bouknight. I think Bouknight, as much as I know Jake doesn't really care for him, I think Bouknight has potential to be one of the highest level scorers in this draft. I think right now, his main downside with him not being a very efficient player, I think you can fix efficiency in the NBA. It just, takes a little bit of time, and I think he's on a team that's going to be able to get him to work efficiently, so I think this is an ideal spot for Bouknight. At 14, I have the Golden State Warriors taking Franz Wagner. Once again, I still think this pick will be traded, but if they do keep it, I think Wagner is literally just a plug-and-play guy. A lot of us have made the comparison that he is Joe Ingles, and he's a mixture of Joe Ingles and Harrison Barnes, which obviously that's like the ultimate role player. So I think taking him here is a really good idea. At 15, the Wizards take Corey Kispert. I think just once again, it's another guy you can just plug and play. I don't think the Wizards would trade this pick. They may, depending on what they believe is the future of this team. And just on top of that as well, if they're looking for kind of instant impact players, Kispert being here is going to be really good for them. At 16, I have the Celtics taking Davion Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell was here, I would be upset with myself again. But Davion Mitchell at 16. I'm not as high on Davion Mitchell as a lot of other people are. I don't normally follow tournament hype. I just kind of look at it and like, okay, this is what he is. What's he going to be at the next level? And I think he's a player that is going to fall just outside the lottery. I wouldn't be surprised if he sneaks in, but just for me, I don't have him as just lottery just yet. So I have him going at 16 to the Celtics, basically instant plug-and-play guy, kind of working alongside, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, kind of being able to help them on both sides of the ball. At 17, I have the Grizzlies taking Zaire Williams. I agree fully with Dave when me and David done the podcast segment about the Grizzlies draft. I think the Grizzlies are a team that needs to take a shot on a high upside guy. If they miss, whatever. Like, you have pieces you can still move. But I think if Zaire Williams hits, you basically get a star 3 to pair next to Ja. And being able to run out a lineup of Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, Zaire Williams, Triple J, and JV is going to be a very dangerous team to deal with. At 18, I have the Thunder taking Kai Jones. I know a lot of people would be surprised I have Kai Jones going this late. I just kind of view it as he's a project that, he's 20 years old, and obviously 20 years old is still really young in the NBA. I'm not going to say it's old, but it's the fact of I feel he's at a similar level of development to what Isaiah Jackson is, but he almost seems like more of a project. He just kind of is an all-around project rather than Isaiah. So I kind of just have him falling. I think the Thunder could be a team that takes a shot at him as well. Obviously, this pick will mostly depend on do they believe Moses Brown. Or I think it's Moses Brown, if I'm not being stupid. If they believe he's the center of the future, this pick may change. But at 19, I have the New York Knicks selecting Duarte. Basically, if they're looking for a 2-guard or just a guard that's able to step and be instant impact and be able to play off of Emmanuel quickly, Duarte's that guy. He's going to be able to instantly step in, impact the game, and just be able to basically run with it from day one. I think Tibbs is going to really like him, and I think being under the tutelage of a lot of the older vets on the team is going to be really good for them. At 20, I have Atlanta taking Jared Butler. I think this is just pairing a defensive guard next to someone like Trae Young, which obviously advanced analytics all year have shown Trae Young is the worst defender in the NBA. He's basically a traffic cone on defense. He doesn't really do anything. He's trying to do stuff, but once again, being small doesn't really help him there. Pairing him next to a defensive-minded guard who can also handle the ball sometimes is going to be really advantageous for this team. At 21, I have the New York Knicks taking Day'Ron Sharpe. If they are intent on taking a center, I think Day'Ron Sharpe is the best one available. I don't think they would look so much for a project. I think they look for like a guy that steps in, does a role, and just that's it. Get in, get out. Bada bing, bada boom. There, you're through with it. At 22, I have the Los Angeles Lakers taking Garuba. Some people may be very upset that I have Garuba this low. I personally don't buy into the hype. Like, I get it. He has potential to be all-NBA level defense, but once again, can't do anything on the offensive end. He's very limited. And the fact that we've seen offensive players, or like defensive-minded players, not be able to stay in the NBA because they can't do anything on offense. Like, if Thibault didn't develop his offense, we wouldn't be singing his praises like we do. We wouldn't be singing praises of someone like if Tony Allen was drafted today. We probably wouldn't be singing his praises since he was limited. So that's why I have Garuba going lower. He goes to a team, they don't really need him to score. He could basically just be like, okay, 80 doesn't want to guard this guy. There you go. Not a shot at 80, but that just would be the role he'd be filling. Back-to-back picks for the Houston Rockets. They take Springer at 23 and Deshaun Highland at 24. I think it's basically just kind of get a lot of guards that are able to help. The only one with these that I personally, after kind of looking over it, I was like, I'm like, do they really kind of do this? Is I don't know what the fit of KPJ and Deshaun Highland would be. Obviously, KPJ, incredible offensive talent, does have some character issues, but once again, I think character issues are things you can iron out once you get to the pros, which obviously KPJ has already been there, but he still had them. Who knows if that'll ever be sorted out. I think Highland has potential to be one of the best offensive players in this draft. So I think just loading up on essentially getting a young backcourt and potentially being able to play three offensive-minded players like Springer, KPJ, and Highland on the court all at the same time that's a scary prospect if I'm a defender. At 25, I have the Clippers taking Trey Mann. I just have them taking him because he's a man. Like, let's be real here. Like, Man's going to go here because they just want to unite the two mans, have the man backcourt. At 26, I have the Denver Nuggets taking Jeremiah Robinson Earl. I think they could basically just be a team that takes just an instant impact player, 3-and-D wing. Who knows how important he'll be to this team right away. Obviously, you hope he can be an instant impact, but once again, this is a team that when fully healthy is hunting championships. So the rookie probably won't play too many minutes, but we'll have to wait and see with that. At 27, I have the Brooklyn Nets taking Keita, or Neemias Queta, however you say his name. I'll never say his name right. Terrible with names. Basically, once again, kind of selecting the successor to DeAndre Jordan. Obviously, DeAndre hasn't been the best this year, and I know they have Claxton, but once again, they may not believe in Claxton as much as a lot of NBA fans do. So, kind of going through with him and taking another center kind of gives more of like a defensive rotation for centers that they can kind of pace DeAndre Jordan so they don't run him through the ringer of injuries. At 28, I have Jake's Philadelphia 76ers taking Trey Murphy III. I think just this team needs shooters there as well. Obviously, they already do have shooters as well. But Trey Murphy III could be a guy, 3-and-D wing, one of the best 3-and-D wings. Also, not afraid to drive to the basket if he has to. He's not hesitant. Obviously, offensive consistency is going to be the name of the game for him. But obviously, if he's able to contribute right away, that's going to be wonderful. At 29, I have the Suns taking Ricky's boy. I have them taking Ayo Dosunmu. I think it's just basically you draft a point guard who's able to learn under Chris Paul. Obviously, Campaign's been doing really well, but who knows if Campaign's really the guard of the future for this team. I think Payne could be a guy who kind of runs the bench unit, while Ayo kind of gets groomed to become that new starter to pair alongside Booker. I think his playstyle works really well alongside with him as well. And finally, at 30, the Utah Jazz taking Sharif Cooper. I just have them taken just kind of BPA at this point. I know some people would be like, wait, this guy didn't go in your round. Why is he not BPA? I think it's just Sharif Cooper is the best player left on this board. Obviously, I think there are some people who could sneak in. Someone like a Greg Brown, someone like, and of course, now that I need to think about it, my brain can't think of them at the moment. But basically, just other kind of bigs. I know Petrusev normally kind of goes in the first round for a lot of people. I don't have him going there. But, you know, I think it's just this team just takes a bench guard that can kind of run, that can run the bench behind Mike Conley if Mike Conley stays. If he leaves, I think this does change the pick, but I think Conley's going to be a player who stays. All right, that finishes the first round. Let's run back through real quick, just to kind of refresh. At number 1, Orlando takes Cade. 2, Detroit takes JG4. At 3, Toronto takes Mobley. 4 and 5, OKC takes Suggs and Kuminga. 6, Cleveland takes Barnes. 7, Golden State takes Jalen Johnson. 8, Orlando takes Keon Johnson. 9, Sacramento takes Moses Moody. 10, New Orleans takes Josh Giddey. 11, Charlotte takes Isaiah Jackson. 12, San Antonio takes Sengun. 13, Indiana takes Bouknight. 14, Golden State takes Wagner. 15, the Wizards take Corey Kispert. 16, the Celtics take Davion Mitchell. 17, the Grizzlies take Zaire Williams. 18, the Thunder take Kai Jones. 19, the Knicks take Duarte. At 20, the Hawks take Butler. At 21, the Knicks take Day'Ron Sharpe. At 22, the Lakers take Garuba. At 23 and 24, the Rockets take Springer and Highland. At 25, the Clippers take Mann. At 26, the Nuggets take Jeremiah Robinson Earl. At 27, Brooklyn takes Quita. At 28, 76ers take Trey Murphy. At 29, the Suns take Ayo Dosunmu. And at 30, Utah takes Sharif Cooper. Alright, but that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to see this a week early, go to patreon.com/MVPvids. There you can join us at the gold tier. Or you can go to our YouTube page, which you're already watching this on, and become a channel member. You know, you get the same access to different things like Patreon. So, we want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.